Thank you for tuning in to the Natty News Daily podcast. This episode is brought to you in part by our sponsor, Core Nutritionals. You can check out corenutritionals.com for all your supplement needs and use code Natty News Daily at checkout to save 20%. Enjoy the episode.
What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Natty News Daily podcast. As you guys can see, I am solo today. James and Dan could not make it. It's Thanksgiving in the U.S. right now, so they're stuffing their faces. But you know what? The podcast doesn't slow down because they're being lazy. We've got Mr. Josh Croggon on the podcast, and for those that don't know, he is the middle height, I guess you could say. I want to say middleweight, but middle height WNBF World Champion 2023, coming off that high of winning that world title, my man. Welcome to the podcast, buddy.
Thank you for having me on. Honestly, I don't think I'll ever get used to hearing people say that, like my name and then world champion. Like that, It's just wild.
Yeah. For reference, how old are you?
I'm 26.
Yeah, man. So you're just knocking on that career, man, and you've got a world title under your belt. That's unreal.
I underestimate like how old people are in this game. And before I went on for the overall with the short and tall guy, we're talking about age, and I think the tall guy's Canadian and he's like 30, 31.
Yep.
And the guy that won the overall is 37 years old.
Damn. So a decade on you.
He literally got a decade of training and a decade of competing on me. So
unreal.
Yeah, let's see what happens over the next few years.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. Let's back it up a bit for those that maybe don't know kind of your history. I've been following you. We've been kind of back and forth online for years now, but I'm sure some of the viewers aren't quite familiar with yourself. So how long have you been competing? What got you in the bodybuilding game? Just give some info on that.
Yeah, so like we said, I'm 26 years old. I've been training for about 10 years and I've been competing since 2019. So what's that? 4 years ago, is it?
Yeah, not that long.
Not that long. I feel like I've done quite a few shows. The Worlds at the weekend was my 16th show. So every year that I've competed, I've made sure that I've made the most of it and done as many shows as I possibly can. The record's not bad. I've won 9 shows. I've only placed out the top 3 on 2 occasions. It's been pretty good. What got me into bodybuilding? Oof. I'd say that the first kind of introduction that I had to bodybuilding was the gym that I train at is basically like the bodybuilding mecca of the UK.
Ultraflex.
Yeah, Ultraflex. But I trained at Ultraflex before it was called Ultraflex.
Okay.
So it used to be called Iron Athlete back in the day. And all the big guys used to train there. So like I remember meeting like Luke Sandow, James Hollingshead, Samson Dowder, like all the big guys like in the industry.
Sure.
I met them all when I was like 19, 20 years old. So yeah, I've just always been part of bodybuilding, and it was just a matter of time until I picked my board shorts up and stepped on stage.
Yeah, for sure. Bodybuilding over where you are seems to be really like big. You know what I mean? I try to like attribute it to like hockey here in Canada or football in the US. Like bodybuilding in the UK especially seems to be kind of like your guys' thing.
Yeah. I'd say like especially in the Midlands or like the north of England where I am, everyone's got a link to bodybuilding one way or another. Like, Ryan Terry, who's just won the men's physique Olympia, 20 minutes away from me. Like,
okay.
All the boys are from around my ends.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very, very, very cool.
Do you have any like insight as to why it's so popular over there? Obviously, maybe we just go back to Dorian being the man, because a lot of you guys will reference him in your training and your mindset and that kind of stuff. So is it just because maybe you guys are so compact that influence trickles down, or what do you think that could be? Like, why is it so big?
Do you know what I think it is? I think where I'm from, everyone, so like the industries that are quite big in my area are like the steel industries and, like proper manual labor kind of thing. So as obviously time's gone on, we've all still got that mindset of like working really hard and putting like where I'm from, everyone's work ethic is pretty insane.
Right.
And like whatever you can apply that work ethic to, you're generally going to be quite successful. So the amount of people that like just picked up bodybuilding because it's got such a strong relationship between like effort and outcome.
Yeah.
I think like loads of people just buy into it and just go on that journey and then go on that journey for years and years and years.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause you guys like, you know, even some of the shows, like your teen classes, your junior classes, like they're 20, 30 guys deep, where like over here, we might have a bodybuilding division with less than 30 guys, 20 guys sometimes. Right. So it's, you know, I think that speaks to obviously the culture over there and how popular it is. But I think that's why we see so many good athletes come out of there, is because the guys that there's so many that get into it, that the guys that then win and go on, like they got to be pretty damn good to do so, because there's so many people doing it.
Yeah, I think like that's it as well. It is so popular in the UK at the minute, like and everyone's so competitive that the standard is just going to get better and better as years go on. Like I'd say at the minute, natural bodybuilding in the UK is as popular as untested bodybuilding, and I never thought in my lifetime I'd be saying that.
Yeah,
it is ginormous. You have to come over. Yeah,
man, it's on the to-do list, trust me. And when I do, I'm hitting all you guys up and we're gonna link up. But with like the popularity of it, I think that you can see that in like your following and stuff, and you know, all you guys 20, 30, 40, 50,000 followers for just, you know, natural bodybuilders, right? Which is like just this small little bit of celebrity status. Even on our page, Natty News, like I was looking at the insights the other day, because we're almost at like 20,000 followers, and it's nuts. And our reach right now this morning is almost 100K, which is twisted. But I looked at the analytics, and I think it was like 50% is Europe. Like 50% of my followers is Europe. So it obviously speaks to how many people just on that side of the world are just invested in natural bodybuilding, which is wicked. So let's jump into, I want to talk about this season for you. I think this is obviously been a big year for you. So can you kind of let's start from the top, first show, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so the whole aim for this year, I've spoke about it on my socials a lot, is it's basically been to show that there is a journey that you can go on within natural bodybuilding, or as a natural athlete, that is as exciting as being an enhanced athlete, which in my opinion isn't very exciting at all. So I've done 5 shows in total. The first show was a PCA show, so an untested show. It was a regional one, but it was like, for me, it felt more than a regional, because it was for my county's title called PCA Yorkshire. And I'm a very, very proud Yorkshireman. And yeah, I really wanted that title. And then obviously to go up against enhanced guys. So we started the season with that in, I think like the 1st of October. Took the win in my class and didn't win the overall, but which that's a theme for this year as well, by the way. So yeah, won my class, which I was delighted with. Then went into the overall, didn't win, but hey ho. Second show of the year, again with that like thought in mind of like, I want to show people like where you can go, that it's like a global thing, not just like a small regional thing. I flew over to Texas and competed at the Summer Shredding Classic.
How was that? How was that, by the way?
Amazing.
I think Christian and what he's doing is going to disrupt the industry so much. The bodybuilding overall winner, Tyler, he's coached by Cliff, like my coach. And man, he won 10K.
Yeah.
Like 10 grand American.
10K.
Like, there's no shows outside of like top IFBB shows, which unless you're winning first, you're not getting that money. Like that's wild. But
yeah,
continue.
Yeah, look, that show was the best show that I've been part of. And it's
also an untested show, correct?
Also an untested show. And every single division and class was absolutely stacked.
Yeah.
Like in men's physique I did basically a regional show on the Saturday, and then their finals on the Sunday. And on the Saturday, there was like 100 and I think like 120 men's physique competitors and
That's
over
wild.
350 people competing on that one day. It was genuinely insane.
I remember even because he did a show here in Canada in Toronto, and I think he posted like almost 400 people competing. I'm like, man, that's an industry disruptor for sure.
What federation rocks up in their first year and does numbers like that?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh God, crazy. And you know, everything was great about it. Like the stages were fantastic. The athlete experience as a whole was like really, really good. Obviously, Christian being Christian, if he does anything, he does it to
he's
like
going in.
Yeah, he's going in to take over.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't wait to see what happens with the SSC over the next few years. But it's going to be huge.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, as for like results, on the Saturday I won my class, which was just ginormous. I'd have been happy with like a top 3. It was that good.
Wow.
But got the win, and then in the overall I came second. So close to winning a nice big trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the second day, it was like less people than the Saturday, but the quality was like through the roof. The classic guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's gone pretty viral since that show.
Yeah,
that,
he was like 19 or something.
Yeah, 19, Ukrainian, absolute freak. Yeah, that is the level of athlete that was there on the Sunday. It was just wild. But again, I won my class that day, so I went into the overall, and I came third in the overall. But I'd say it was one of them where it could have gone to any 3 of us, and they just went for the biggest guy. Like genuinely, was 6'7", I think.
Holy shit.
Yeah, ginormous. He had like, I think it was 40 kilos on me in stage weight. So that's
my God.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. They just went for a completely different look that I could not ever possibly put on a stage.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was buzzing with that. I actually won some prize money as well for that. I won a nice $1,000.
See, that's huge. That's huge, man.
Yeah, for coming third. Like
perfect.
Yeah, sound. Yeah, and then after that, so literally we treated Texas as though it was business. We was there literally Wednesday to Monday night, and came back home, and then it was like back on the grind for the following 2 shows. Yeah, so 2 weeks after Texas, I did my I'm calling it my first pro show, but it's not, because I competed as a pro in 2021 at the Worlds. But yeah, it was in Germany, and I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty shit. I'd never been to Germany before in my life, and how they operate as a country is very different to the UK. Like in the UK, we've got like 24-hour supermarkets. Gyms are open late at night. In Germany, not the case.
Really?
Everything shuts at 8 p.m. Yeah. So when we flew in, the flight got delayed, and that basically meant that on that first day, I had no food. I couldn't train.
Oh shit!
I literally had time to go and get my polygraph done, and that was it.
Wow, interesting.
It was such a stress.
No doubt.
And that theme just continued over the weekend. So yeah, everything just went wrong. But anyway, by the Sunday, when the show was actually meant to be, I was just like, yeah, I look like shit. I feel like shit. I just want to go home. And I think that kind of that shone in my physique and how I presented myself on stage.
That would manifest in your look for sure. Just not being like mentally knowing you're not on the ball and stuff like that. You know, just that stage presence, and even how your body's responding to things, like it just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah. So I placed 5th in that show. And I'll be honest, I thought, right, what's the point in going to the Worlds? If I'm not even coming top 3 in a pro, like just a normal pro show, like what's going to happen when I'm against the best in the world? But I got home, kind of like just had a couple of days of just kind of coming down and not thinking too deeply about what happened. And yeah, I thought, you know what? But it's been such a fun season to this point. It would be such a shame to end it there.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, we're going to go all in. I'm not going to miss a single variable for the next 2 weeks. And we're going to go out to Seattle and we're going to see where my actual physique lies within like the natural men's physique space. Because I just knew in Germany it just weren't good.
Yeah.
Really weren't good.
Wasn't a reflection of what you actually do. Now, remind me, because I feel like I saw you post you were going to come to Canada. You were going to do Calgary at one point. I was so stoked for that because I was going. I was like, man, we'll be able to link up. But what, just like scheduling wise, or what changed your mind on that?
It would when like at that point when I said that I was going to go to Calgary, my girlfriend had a different job to what she currently has now. So she would have been able to essentially take a month off of work and it not be an issue.
Right.
And then she changed her job and was like, oh, look, I'm not going to be able to come with you. And for me, I would rather, not like, I love my girlfriend. She's like a big part in my bodybuilding life.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go to Calgary and do all that stuff on my own. I wanted to like experience it with her. So we changed the plan slightly, which I think was the right thing to do. Like in the long term, I will come to Calgary to compete 100%. Like the pro show this year looks so good.
Man,
it's got to be on the list for years to come.
Yeah, shout out to Leo and Charlotte who run that event, because I've gone twice now to, watch and help out and promote with Natty News and stuff like that. And, they do a good job. This year they did the amateur Saturday, pro Sunday. Last year they did it all in one day, which was a bit much. So this year they split it. And not only was the show run really well, the quality was really good. The timing with it right before Worlds, I think is attractive to a lot of people, because you could just like kind of bang it out and then jump right to Worlds. So yeah, man, definitely whenever the return is, add it to the list.
It's on the list. It's on the list. Potentially next year. I've got quite a few guys competing and quite a few guys that I would say are like knocking on the door for that pro card. So there's still potential of me, being in Calgary, just not actually being on the stage.
Right.
Yeah, we'll play that one by ear.
Yeah. I'm in a similar boat. There's a couple that are eyeing it up next year. So I'll be also attending as a coach. So if we can line something up, we'll make it happen.
Be sick. Be sick.
I just want to comment too, because we talked about this off air, but the respect I have for you making that decision, thinking of your girlfriend, because I think a lot of people think bodybuilding's so selfish, and don't get me wrong, in a lot of regard it is, especially on prep. But we talked about off air, like trophies eventually sitting there and collecting dust, and you forget about them, but having those memories with your significant other or friends or family, like that's what will kind of last in your mind. So kudos to you for thinking about that kind of stuff, because I think you probably would have gone by yourself and been like, man, I wish he was here. Like this isn't the same, especially if you would have won, to not have that celebration with her and to see the smile on her face and the pride in her eyes. Like that would have been a probably missing link of the season for you. So much respect for that decision.
Yeah. Well, when I competed in Germany, she couldn't get the time off work for that. So I went over with my videographer, and it just felt wrong.
Yeah.
Like, and then obviously it went terrible. She's like, see, you can't do these things without me. I'm like,
she's officially a good luck charm too.
Yeah. She's genuinely never seen me. She's only seen me not win once. Like that's a pretty good record, and she's seen me compete like 10 times. So
I remember when I competed last year, my wife and I, we were getting ready for the WNBF show, and she's like, if you don't win, don't come home. And I'm like, fair play. All right. No pressure. But, sometimes, obviously she said it in laughter, but at the same time, it's kind of like, they have faith in you to perform and do a good job. So it's nice to have that, right? Like, I want to see you do this. So make it happen, or the door's going to be locked when you come back.
Oh, bless her.
That's awesome. So then Worlds, right? That was the follow-up?
That was the follow-up. So, I had 10 days of absolute pure shit. I'm not going to lie. I took off quite a lot of body fat in a very short space of time, but it's what was needed.
Yep.
again, on my social media, I preach a lot about trying to be as balanced and to enjoy things as much as you possibly can and try not to moan. But like that last like 2 weeks of prep was pretty tough.
Can you detail that a little bit? What'd you do?
Literally, I can tell you exactly what I did. I did between 15 and 20,000 steps a day. I've not done cardio, like direct cardio, for a while. It ends up just kind of trashing my legs and just completely screwing over my recovery. So no direct cardio, just 15,000 steps on a training day, 20,000 steps on a rest day. And then food was at a rather tasty 120 grams of carbs, 20 grams of fat, 200 grams of protein. And yeah. Absolute pure shit. I'm not gonna lie.
20 fat too. That's rough. It's almost worse than less carbs, I find. I find if my fat's still at a reasonable level, I can function okay. Even if my carbs are like next to nil. But man, you start digging those low fats, like your brain, like energy, it all just starts to tank.
Yeah. Like it got to the point where I couldn't have. Normally, I would have oats or oatmeal for you guys in the morning, and they had to go because the trace fats were just too much. I was like, oh god, this is really quite shit.
So was it just like rice based stuff?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just great fun. Fun.
Nice.
Lots of chicken, lots of rice, or not a lot of rice, and then lots and lots of salad and greens.
Yeah, that sounds like it. So clearly it paid off. You headed over to Seattle, landed a couple days beforehand?
Yeah, so again, I've got a bit of a mental preparation checklist, and I like to get there 4 days before. So we got there, I think it was like Wednesday lunchtime with the show on the Sunday.
Yep.
Got everything in place as soon as possible, like trained, got all the food, just like made sure I had scales, just everything. It was
everything was open
out.
past 8 p.m.
Yeah, and things were open past 8 p.m. I could not believe it.
What a revolutionary concept.
I know, crazy. And they had like chicken that wasn't deep fried. Oh, just amazing.
Perfect.
Amazing. So just got everything in place, and then on the second day of us being there, just started carb loading. Obviously being on such low food for so long, my body was like a furnace.
Oh, no,
it was doubt. So on like a peak week for me, I would weigh myself at 3 points in the day to kind of like get a gauge of like how responsive my body is to the food. Right. And on the first day, I had like 800 carbs, and the night. So the night of eating all that food, I was at half a kilo down from the morning.
Down.
I was like, Jesus, where's it going?
Yeah, really. Yeah, you're burning that. That's a lot of food to burn through over a day and raw.
Oh, wild. They were like, nearly 6,000 calories of food in total. In fact, it might have been a little bit over that. And basically ending up in quite clearly a deficit. Wild. So we used what I like to call the Chipotle protocol. Okay. So on the run up to the show, every night the last meal was a Chipotle. We don't have Chipotle in England. I wish that we did, but yeah, it seemed to do the trick. Woke up every morning, look better, look tighter, and then by the time show day came around, I would never say like, "Oh my god, this I can't believe this is my physique," but I was pretty blown away. I was like, Jesus Christ.
The money.
We were on the money. Money. It just felt mint. Perfect. And again, when you've got that confidence in yourself or in your physique, it does show so much when you're on the stage.
Yeah. Just like on the flip side of your Germany experience, right? When you're down and out, your body will show that. But when you are like mentally on and you feel it, it, everything just pops. It just, even the way you pose, the way you carry yourself on and off stage, like it's just this air of like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
What was the scale weight between that Germany and Worlds?
So Germany, the first show of the year that I competed at, I was 81 kilos. And then when we went out to summer shredding, I don't know what it is in pounds. Do you work in pounds or kilos?
I'm a pounds guy. So 81 times 2.2. So about 178.
Yeah. about 178. Then when we went over to summer shredding, I got down to like 79.
Okay. So
Right.
173, so 6-7 pounds off.
Yeah. And then Germany, because the food choices were so shit and my stress levels were like through the roof, the morning of the show was 81.5.
Ooh. So
Yeah.
right back.
Yeah. But again, I were barely eating anything. It was just the food quality was just really not good. And then the morning of the Worlds, I think it was 79.2. So bite down, but fuller, tighter.
Better. Yep.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. It's amazing what that'll do, man. Like that water retention, that inflammation, just that like that puffy, not hard look, that film that you get when your body is stressed. It's crazy what that will do to someone's look, especially when you're at that lean state. You know, stress when you're peeled, it'll show more than anything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I always find as well, you know, like even when like the tiniest thing. So if I need to go to the toilet and if I hold it in a little bit longer, I find that ends up just making my body look like so much more watery from like the stress of holding it in.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like the smallest things can just throw off so much.
So Worlds, obviously the result. Let's run through that feeling, that that high that you felt.
Yeah. So just a little bit of more context. So in my class at the Worlds, there was a guy called Louise that won the Worlds in 2021. So he beat me in 2021.
Okay.
There was a guy called Harry Ransom from the UK who when I won my pro card, me and him in our class were joint on points. So he had a little bit of I want to beat Josh because that year we were joint on points.
Yeah.
And then there was a guy called Santiago Prada who is phenomenal. And he beat me in Germany 2 weeks previous. So I felt like I had all these little battles with everyone else in my class that I just wanted to I wanted to win. I wanted to win so bad.
The trials of Josh Croggon.
Yeah. You were like they were on my little demons.
Yeah, little checks to go.
Yeah. So well, it was awesome. Apologies to anyone else that was in my class. I don't remember your names, but I didn't hate you on the run up to the show. Yeah, so lucky for me. I took the win in my class. Santiago, who beat me in Germany, came second. Harry came third, and Louise, who won the Worlds 2 years ago, came fourth. So yeah, it was just a massive moment for me, honestly. And even when we're on stage, there were no point that I thought, oh, I've got this. Like, I'm sure you'll understand, but you know, when you're like, so you're concentrating that much on what you're doing. I had no idea where I was on the stage. I could have been center or I could have been right on the outside. I didn't care because I was just so concentrating on making sure everything was like on, like, and firing.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I came off, loads of people were like, oh yeah, you were center stage. Like, nah. I think I was like outside one or outside two. Yeah.
It's almost like a blur when you're in that sometimes. Like I find I almost don't hear anything. You know what I mean? Like you hear the judges obviously, and like, you know, I would hear when my wife would yell, or like James and Dan when they were at my shows, they would yell something, but you're almost just in this like haze. And it's just like, you know, obviously men's physique, you know, face to front, face to back, quarter turn, this and that. For bodybuilding, like front double, side chest, like you hear those things, but everything else is like almost like white noise. You know, it's a very weird. I don't know if it's a combination of like the lights are so bright and you're just in this zone of like, you know, you've practiced this hours over the course of prep and it's just muscle memory. And you just get in this weird, like almost like a Zen state.
It's awesome, isn't it? Like there is no way of, I'd say being in a Zen state is like the closest way of describing it to someone that wouldn't understand. It's just magic, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then obviously, like, you know, when it goes well, it's just, it just feels like an out of body experience.
Yeah, like a euphoria.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
When I watched the video back of them reading my name out, I could not remember at that point what was going off. It's
Yeah.
like because I like walk around and do like a little bit of a loop. I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't remember that at
Yeah.
all.
You black out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
mad.
cool, man. It was awesome to watch, obviously, to see that journey come to a close for the season with the world title. I don't think it gets much better than that.
I don't think it does. I really don't think it does.
So what's next for you then as a competitor? I also want to ask, there's so many organizations, there's so many federations, world title this, champion this, winner this. Is WNBF your kind of sole focus?
I would say so, yeah. When I first started like following, so obviously I feel like this is the same for everyone. When you first start following bodybuilding, you start following the IFBB and the Olympia and whatnot. And then once you decide what route you're wanting to go down, you start focusing on the niches.
Yeah.
For me, as soon as I started following natural bodybuilding, it was all WNBF. Like
Sure.
that's all I was bothered about. I knew about the INBA, I knew about the OCB, but for me, it was WNBF. All the guys that I look up to within natural bodybuilding, they're WNBF pros.
Okay.
And that's what I would love to be able to say that I'm a WNBF pro. I think at the time as well, the men's physique pro, like WNBF pro status was just becoming a thing.
Right.
And I thought, like, I don't know any UK guys that have got this pro status. I would love to be like almost like the face of it,
Yeah.
or just
Yep.
like the first to do something.
Yeah, for sure.
And that for me would have been like a big enough goal or a big enough life goal to be able to achieve that. So to be able to, like, you know, go on the journey that I have done with the WNBF, it's just been amazing.
Yep. No, it's awesome, man. Yeah, I think when you have that kind of like deep inner like connection to it,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, there's again, like there's so many organizations, but if you have kind of come up with the organization as far as like just following it and seeing the sport grow and the organization grow, obviously with WNBF UK, obviously there's connections with that too. It
Yeah.
has more meaning to it versus just chasing a title because a certain percentage of the people think it's popular or think
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this title means more. Well, maybe to you, but to me,
Yeah.
it's this one, right? And whether it's this federation or that federation, what it means to the athlete is what matters more than anything, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like with how the WNBF are wanting to grow going forwards, it makes me want to be part of it even more, because like they're not happy with how they are, you know, they're like one brick in the wall. They want to be the entire wall. They want to have affiliates in every single country, which I completely admire. Like the pro league with the WNBF over the next few years is going to be ginormous. Like I know that the UK are going to have a pro show next year. I was talking to like the guys that run like the Dubai Pro Show, and they're wanting to get it bigger and bigger. And like, you know, they're even changing the date of their show so that it's one of the biggest shows of the year within natural bodybuilding.
Wow.
It's just going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I obviously want to come to Canada, but when you meet people and you have conversations, have you seen the like the Malaysia shows?
I don't know if I
Or
have.
like the mate, insane. It looks like the Olympia. Like,
Really?
yeah. Go on Instagram and just check
I'll
out
have to check them out.
WNBF. I think it's Malaysia. It just looks, or Taiwan. They just look unbelievable. They're like 2 and 3 day shows because they're so big.
Really?
Like, you got like 500 competitors competing in a natural show.
See, that's where I think the WNBF will continue to thrive, is their true international presence. You know what I mean? Like every organization's got their worlds or whatever they call it, that is their worlds. But it's, there's a couple shows in the US that are basically like American plus the odd guy that's not from America.
Yeah.
That's their worlds. The WNBF continues and clearly is only going to get bigger with actually being a world stage with competitors from all over. the world, not only like North America, Europe, but like globally. I think it's going to continue to grow. And this year, I will give them all the credit in the world with the staging, the lighting, the quality of competitors. Like this world's probably definitely in the last like good chunk of time was the best.
Yeah.
Sure.
And like, it's my second time that I've been to a Worlds, and the jump up from 2 years ago to now, it was ginormous. And honestly, I can't wait to see what it'll be like in another 2 years or even next year. Like I've heard rumors that they're wanting to not only have the Worlds in the US, they're wanting to literally make it a bit of a tour.
They should.
That's only going to be a good thing for natural bodybuilding because again, you know, just meeting people. There's a lot of people that struggle to get visas for the US.
Right.
So you're almost like saying no to a whole list of countries that can't actually get into the US. So hosting it into a.
Did you need a visa to get there as a competitor?
Yeah, I needed an ESTA. So it's literally, it's like, yeah, just like going on a vacation kind of thing. Yeah, but people get rejected for that. Like, say if you were from like Pakistan or something, it's very difficult to get into the US. So yeah, if they hosted it in a different country, just open so many more doors for people.
Yep. Yeah. Which will only make those titles more prestigious. You know what I mean? Like when you are like a world champion, that's actually a global event, right? Like the Olympia, you know what I mean? Like the Olympia is the pinnacle for the enhanced side of the sport for a reason, because you have athletes from all over the globe coming to that one show. And when you have organizations with world championships that are basically just like their big show in the US, obviously it's not a knock on the competitors because these shows still have great quality competitors, but it's not a representation of the world of natural bodybuilding.
Yeah.
That's where, you know, Worlds, obviously with the WNBF, the show like the Mr. America that is accepting pros from any organization. I think you're going to see more of those pop up and that only grow, which I think is only better for the sport because it's giving a platform for anybody and everybody to duke it out, because there are fantastic WNBF pros that will never face fantastic OCB pros or INBA pros or whatever, because the platform's not there. But the Mr. America is saying, like, you know what, Josh, you're a world champ. So-and-so, you're the OCB Yorton Cup champ. So-and-so, you're the INBA world champion. Let's see who's better.
We'll battle it out.
Yeah, which I think is awesome. Like those opportunities I think are great because it only gives the athletes more opportunities to compete with other individuals and test it out, right? Like at the end of the day, we want to do this to compete. And, you know, obviously to have platforms to do that with, it only makes everything better for the sport as a whole.
Yeah, I would love that. I would truly love that.
Yep.
If just not even like, doesn't have to be a federation that does it. If an individual, like, you know, Christian Guzman, if he just dropped me a DM like, look, you've won this, come to my show on this day, we're gonna have everyone else. Oh, it'd be amazing.
Well, and I think you're going to see that happen. And we've had conversations with Mark from Mr. America, especially when you get, you know, someone like Christian who's able to put some money behind it and Mark offering up money. Like, let's send some invites out. Let's look at the calendar and say like, okay, who won, you know, top 3 at every big show this year, and say like, okay, invites go out at the start of the year for the show in November. Then give everybody time to prep.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's see who's the best. That's what I think could catapult our sport just that little bit more. Is that true best of the best. You're the Mr. Global Champion because you beat everybody, right? Like I think that will be over the next maybe like 3 to 5 years. I think we'll see something like that. And selfishly, we hope Natty News has some play in that because we're getting enough of a platform that I think we can start pulling strings.
Mate, I definitely think so. I definitely think so.
Yep. All right, my man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I'm glad we were able to line this up. Obviously, again, congratulations. And I think you kind of hinted at it, but not next year. Maybe 2025 will be a return.
It's definitely going to be 2025. And then I'm not actually sure how many years after that. 2025 could be like, the end. Yeah. I want to, the way that I see, like, the competing side of it, I want to tick off a load of boxes that I want to, like obviously pro card, world champ. I'd like a European title.
Yep.
Yeah, there's just a few more boxes that I want to tick off. And then once I've done that, I'm done.
I respect that, man. Well, I appreciate this again, man. Thank you so much for coming on. If any of the viewers want to get in touch with you, they want to follow your socials, I know you're all over the place. Where can they find you?
Yeah, so Instagram is Josh Croggon _. I've got a pretty sick YouTube channel, I'm not gonna lie, which is just my name, Josh Croggon. I'm not on TikTok because I do TikTok a little bit, but not very much.
Get off
that. But yeah, I've also got a podcast as well called Board Shorts and Banter,
nice.
with one of my boys, Tom Stockton. So yeah, find me on all them.
There we go. All right, people. Well, if you enjoyed this episode with Josh, let us know. If you guys want to see him on again, maybe sometime in the off season, we can make that happen. We appreciate your support. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.